A very good evening to everyone present here. So I would first like to thank AKMI for having invited me for this summit, and also I would like to congratulate Mr. Srinivasan on his Microfinance in Karnataka book. He made a very beautiful presentation on all his findings. So I don't have a very lengthy presentation to discuss. I'm just going to talk about what our organization has done so far and what is the way forward for Sanjeevani KSRLPS. So as you might be already knowing about my organization, it is the National Rural as well as the Urban Livelihood Mission. We are called as Sanjeevani in Karnataka. Some of you have heard of this Kerala, Kudumbashri. I think it's fairly well known all over India. So we adopted Sanjeevani KSRLPS. This name was adopted in the year 1415. So we are, it is a growth from the previous scheme of Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, which was later on adopted as Sanjeevani KSRLPS. So we came into being in the year 1415. So we have come a long way from where we have started before. Previously, in Karnataka, we were called as the Stree Shakti Sangha. I mean, almost all of you must have heard of the Stree Shakti Sangha. So we used to come under the Women and Child Department, and most of our SHGs who are now currently federated under us were previously members of the Women and Child Department under Stree Shakti Sangha. So previously, the Women and Child Department were the ones who were taking care of the SHG credit linkage and the community investment fund, the revolving fund, and all these aspects. Now, all of this aspect has been devolved to National Rural Livelihood Mission as well as National Urban Livelihood Mission. So we've come a long way forward. So we started with just around 20,000 SHGs. Now, as of today, we have grown to 3.38 lakh SHGs. So which is like a big jump over the last 10 years. So, in fact, over the last 1 year, we were around 2.5 lakh SHGs, and over the last 1 year, due to the policies of the Ministry of Rural Development, we have now been able to federate around 38 lakh households, covering around 3.38 lakh SHGs. And one more interesting thing which I would like to mention here is, even the Dharmasthala SHGs, also for the sake of the MIS under NRLM, they are also going to come under our ambit as far as the MIS portion is concerned. So over the last 2-3 months, around 40 to 50,000 Dharmasthala SHGs have also been federated under the NRLM MIS. Only for the purpose of MIS purpose, we will not be devolving other RF or other CF facilities to them. So now we have grown into an organization of around 3.38 lakh SHG. So you might be wondering, Mr. Srinivasan here talked in detail about the kind of role that microfinance institutions play in livelihood, and whether the kind of support that they get through the MFs, microfinance institutions, whether the livelihood is actually beneficial, is actually giving some sort of a outcome. So regarding that, we have certain key programs in Sanjeevani which focuses specifically on this aspect. So we are a very big organization. We have around 5,965 what we call as a master bookkeeper. Each master bookkeeper is in turn in charge of one Gram Panchayati level federation. So we have around 5,000 MBKs, we have 12,000 community resource persons, and what we have done over the last few years is devolve into livelihood activities, which is both farm as well as non-farm. So the question is whether it is the funding through the microfinance institutions, whether it is through our own SHG credit linkage. We also have a very vibrant SHG credit linkage movement happening here. So we have been able to, around 21,000 crore outstanding was achieved last year. So this is what we have also been in constant touch with the banks to that extent. So the question is, how are they utilizing this money? Whether it is the SHG credit linkage, or whether it is the community investment fund or the revolving fund, how is it being used? So in order to channelize the SHG members and the SHGs into utilizing it in a fruitful way, we have delineated several activities in both farm as well as non-farm. So as far as the farm activities are concerned, whether it is the animal husbandry activities or the fishery activities or various other activities, poultry and other activities, we have what we call as a cadre of Pashu Sakhis. So who are the Pashu Sakhis? The Pashu Sakhis are essentially our SHG women only. They have been selected from our own SHGs. They are working in very close consonance with the animal husbandry department, and they are taking the services of the animal husbandry department to each and every SHG in every part of Karnataka. So they will be giving an idea. Say, for example, a particular farmer purchases a pair of cows. So how can you improve the income over the next few years? Whether it is going to happen through the SHG credit linkage, whether it is going to happen through the CIF, or whether it is going to happen through MFIs. The question is how to improve their income over the next few years. So we launched a small project called as Shira Sanjeevani. So what was this Shira Sanjeevani? In Shira Sanjeevani, we gave an interest-free loan to SHG members of around 50,000 rupees. And Karnataka Milk Federation gave us all sorts of support as far as the technical support was concerned, the animal vaccination, the training programs, all of it. All the technical portion of it was handled by KMF, and the loan portion was handled by us. And what we actually studied was this project we implemented over a period of 2 to 3 years. And we also had a study by Karnataka Evaluation Authority, and they have studied that the average income of the particular entrepreneur who was involved in Shira Sanjeevani, it grew by 27%. So if what this shows is, instead of just giving broad-based loans to people, if we are able to guide them in a certain way with the help of certain resource persons, our women entrepreneurs are capable of reaching a much higher level of income, provided they are guided in the right direction. So this year what has happened is the Ministry of Rural Development has come up with a project called as the Lakpati Didi program. So what is this Lakpati Didi program? The idea is every SHG woman who is federated under the National Rural Livelihood Mission, say now this involves 3.38 lakh SHG, 38 lakh women essentially. So the question is, every SHG woman, the annual income should be more than 1 lakh. So you might think the target is very laughable, because when the annual income is just 1 lakh, what is the monthly income supposed to be? Just some 8,000 or 7,000, in that range. So, but for an SHG woman, reaching the 8 lakh, the 1 lakh annual income per year itself is a very, very big achievement, because many of them are still below that income bracket, especially in the rural areas. So we kept this ambitious target of this Lakpati Didi program, and we have been working with our as I mentioned, the Shira Sanjeevani program, as well as what we call as the Krishi Sakhis. So who are the Krishi Sakhis? The Krishi Sakhis are basically, again, SHG women who have been selected from our own fold, and they will be closely coordinating with the agriculture department. They will be telling them about the organic farming practices. They will be talking to them about better farming practices and how to improve their income generally. So what are the ways to improve the income? Not only that, we have something called as the Krishi Udyoga Sakhi. So what is the purpose of the Krishi Udyoga Sakhi? These are the people who will be developing what is called as the business development plan. So as you might all know, there is no point in just giving a woman just a loan of 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs and just leave it to their own devices, because how she is going to use that money, whether the money is going to have some sort of a dividend in the future, is what is more important. So that is where the Krishi Udyoga Sakhi plays a role. This Krishi Udyoga Sakhi, we have hired around 5,000 throughout Karnataka. They will be preparing what is called as the business development plan. So this Krishi Udyoga Sakhi would be assessing the baseline income of the particular SHG woman. Then she would develop a business development plan tailor-made to the particular SHG woman's entrepreneurial activity. Now, most of our SHG women are doing very, very basic activities like papad making, pickle making, roti making. So you must be knowing that. So the question is, how do we upgrade these SHG women's products into something which is more market ready? That is now number one. And number two would be how to popularize the product and actually make better sales. So this is where our marketing and branding arm of Karnataka SRLM comes into play. And that's why last year we launched a very big program called as the Stri Samartha Yojana. So what was the Stri Samartha Yojana? We enrolled around 50,000 SHG entrepreneurs who are already established. Andre, they are not very well established. They are just, they have been entrepreneurship activity over the last 5 years. So we selected such SHG entrepreneurs and we identified certain products which they would be making. It could be the food sector, it could be other handicraft items, it could be around 15 items which we established, and we connected them with something called as the technical support agency. So these technical support agencies are the ones who would be providing the marketing and branding part of the SHG, so that when the SHG woman gives the finished product, it is not only available just for rural market consumption, but also available for the urban markets, with better labeling, with a better branding. So we have also entered into the e-commerce platform. We are going to launch our own e-commerce platform website, and we are also already, our presence, if you can see, you can type in Amazon or Flipkart, Sanjeevani KSRLPS products are already available. So why are we doing all of this is, providing marketing opportunities for our SHG women, not only in the local offline market also, but some sort of an online market support also. So why am I talking about all this is because I feel that, both of us, whether it's the microfinance institutions or the SHGs, we need to work hand in hand. Because as Mr. Srinivasan rightly mentioned, MFIs, in some places there have been like complaints of, let us say the interest rates are very high, or, arbitrary lending practices, or, recovery practices, these kind of things. But there was one very important point that he mentioned was, if it was so bad, people would not be coming to you again and again. So there is actually a demand for the microfinance institutions. There is a demand for your products, for the portfolio of products that you provide. And the question is, how can we integrate the activities of Sanjeevani KSRLPS along with MFIs and, ensure that we have a dedicated cadre of people on the ground. We have people who are able to develop a business development plan, who can take the SHG in the right direction. So we would be very much willing to help any woman, whether it is a SHG or non-SHG woman, to become a full-fledged entrepreneur. So this is one point of convergence which I thought about as Mr. Srinivasan was making a presentation. And also, as far as the SHG credit linkage is concerned, as I said, we have a very lofty goal in mind. We want to ensure that all the 38 lakh women in Karnataka who are under NRLM should come to the Lakpati or should be above the Lakpati fold. So that is what we have kept as an ambitious target. It is ambitious because it is not so easily done, but we have a huge cadre of people for this working on the ground, both in the farm as well as the non-farm sector. And I would also like to mention a very exciting project that we are doing in collaboration with IAM Bangalore. It is called as an incubation project. So what did we essentially do in the incubation project? We identified around 40,000 women entrepreneurs who are already active in the field, and out of these 40,000 women entrepreneurs, we selected 500 women entrepreneurs. And I think most of you must have seen this Shark Tank on TV, right? It's a very common program. So we had some sort of a pitching round along with these SHG women. So they came and they pitched for their particular enterprise. They said what kind of a turnover they are making, how can they improve their product over the years, what kind of loan they require, and all this. So they made a pitching to the IIM Bangalore, and ultimately we identified around 150 entrepreneurs. Now IIM Bangalore will be exclusively hand-holding this 150 entrepreneurs and making them into a full-fledged business entrepreneurship. So this is a very small thing. 150 is a very small number, but we can say that it could be a model for Karnataka where we can collaborate with such institutions and make some actual fruitful activity in the ground. So thank you. And one more interesting program that we are doing is the PM Swanidhi program. I think all of you must have heard of it. So basically it is a very small amount of money. It's not very huge. It's just 10,000 for the first tranche, 20,000 for the second tranche, and 50,000 for the third tranche. So this would be given over a period of 3 years, and we are primarily focusing on street vendors, very simple people who are milk vending or newspaper vendors or street hawkers, essentially people who are untouched by any scheme, people who are untouched by even any MFIs. Most of the MFIs, at least you require a certain kind of criteria from these people, but these street vendors are those who no one lends to. So these are the people who we are trying to cover under PM Swanidhi, and I would like to say that we have already touched around 3 lakh street vendors in Karnataka. So I think it's a big achievement for the state of Karnataka, and we really want to ensure that no man or woman is left behind as far as the credit linkage is concerned. So I think that is a very comprehensive picture of what and all activities we are doing, and I concur with Mr. Srinivasan when he said that maybe there is some sort of a governmental support which could be given to MFIs as far as the rates are concerned, but I think that is a policy decision to be taken in the future. So I thank you, all of you, for this wonderful opportunity for me. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.